The RTX 4060 and 4050 are coming. This morning, we got reports for filing for SKUs for the ECC from, what's the company name? Shanky Group in China, and Shanky actually owns two manufacturers of GPUs in the region, that being Maxsun and Soyo. These SKUs showed up alongside the 4070, and while we know that the 4070 is going to be the next big product that Nvidia launches, we can only assume that the 4060 and the 4050 are going to be coming after that, if the listing and the rumors are to be believed anyway. It looks like the 4060 Ti has also been seen, and the specs for the cards that we know so far are as follows. 4050 will have a 100 watt TDP according to rumors, and that is about all we know on this card right now. We know that if the listing is true, that the 4060 will have a 150 watt TDP and will be powered by a 1x16 pin cable. Same goes for the 4060, a 1x16 pin connector, as well as a 160 watt TDP. However, what the SKU tells us is that the 4060 Ti will have 4,352 cores, sorry about that, a 128-bit memory bus with 8 gigs of video memory on board, and a bandwidth of 288 gigabytes. None of these listings are showing any sort of pricing, but we can only imagine that they're not going to be super cheap. Now look, man, every high-tier, mid-tier card that I have had up to this point in my PC building or PC gaming career has been Team Green. I've been Team Nvidia all the way. But I cannot deny the glaring issues in the GPU market with Nvidia in particular. The global pajama party that sent GPU prices skyrocketing has gotten a little better, but it has left long-term and long-lasting effects on the GPU market. Why is this? Well, because when manufacturers saw what PC gamers were willing to pay when graphics cards scalpers and crypto miners were selling off their graphics cards at ridiculously high prices, they seemed to notice that PC gamers are dumb and decided that they would pay those absolutely ridiculous inflated prices anyway. Now, they're not as bad as they were, but it is going to be a dark road going forward, at least in the foreseeable future, because of what they noticed, that we're willing to pay these. Well, I'm not willing to pay these prices, but people are willing to pay up to $2,500 for a 3090 at its peak. Ridiculous. Nvidia capitalized on this terrible market condition, which is why EVGA ultimately stopped creating graphics cards for them, inciting that their pricing and communication was terrible. Nvidia came out big swinging. Now their board partners are not able to make a profit at the MSRPs set because the price is set by Nvidia. So if they want to make a profit, based on fees and manufacturing and cost and things like that, companies like MSI and Gigabyte can't release their 3080s for $800. They got to release them for $860, $900, sometimes $1,000. Sometimes you can find them at a good price. However, when it comes to cards like the 40 series, that's a little different story. But that might be why you had seen during the pajama party, that's what I'm going to call the, the time frame where we weren't allowed to go outside for a couple years. You would see things like Nvidia's graphics cards being, okay, this 3070 is, $600, even though it's supposed to be $500, but then Gigabyte's version of it was going to be like $850, $900. That's why you're seeing third-party markups higher than Founders Edition cards for Nvidia. So, I mean, it's a weird time. It's going to only get worse in my mind as well. It's kind of like The Last of Us, right? Like the green fungus planted itself, and now it's mind controlling everybody to increase their pricing, and the consumer is the one that just has to deal with it. Think about the 3060. This is supposed to be one of the budget options, and yet what do you find them for? $350, $400? I mean, during the pajama party, we were able to find them for $800, $900, and they're supposed to, you know, the MSRP is, it wasn't that high, I'll tell you that. I think they even broke $1,000 at one point. And while it's still not that bad, I think the precedent that Nvidia has set with their pricing and why EVGA has stopped making cards in the first place is valid. Currently, 4080s are going for $1,500 to $2,000 on the open market, $1,200 if you could find one at a store like Best Buy, compared to the days of old when I got my RTX 2070 Super from EVGA for $499 and my 3080 on a water block already from EVGA for $799. The price that the MSRP. This is a dark path we've accepted, that we can just let them price hike things like this. And it's bananas to me that the consumers allow this to happen, that people will willy-nilly buy a 4080 graphics card with a weird connector that's literally lighting on fire due to subpar design. We swap from quality to something else, and everyone just seems to be okay with that. Green sees green, and it's making me want to see red. This is part of the reason why I wish Intel would have just came out big swinging and we actually had some competition in the market, because, you know, I think AMD pricing is pretty solid. But again, I've been Team Green for so long that I haven't really looked into AMD pricing that much. So I'm not sure. Is AMD also seeing green at this point, or are they still Team Red? If you think about it, if Intel would have came out swinging and actually provided some competition against these two, it would have been like it was with Intel and AMD in the beginning, right? It used to be that AMD was the processor. That was what you went with. And then over time, they started falling off and Intel took over market share. And Intel was the big on campus, okay? And for the longest time, nothing could be done about it, right? Intel was Intel. Intel was king. And, you know, you paid that premium to have Intel in your rig. It wasn't until Ryzen came around that Intel had to be forced to start releasing products at a more affordable rate. They didn't have any other choice but to release certain SKUs at a certain price point for competition. I shouldn't be buying the budget Nvidia SKU, okay? The 3060, the 4060, 4050. I shouldn't be buying the budget option for almost what I paid for my 4070 Super in 2019. And I know what people are thinking, like, oh, you know, things change, things get more expensive over time. Actually, that's quite the opposite. Over time, technology tends to get cheaper. Hence why we've seen when DDR4 released back in the day, it was so expensive, and then over time, it falls. Same thing will happen with DDR5 RAM as well. And the same thing happened with solid state drives. In the beginning, this technology is expensive to make. It's brand new. It's amazing. Starts high. And now look at the prices of solid state drives. Very affordable, very budget options. The Xbox and the PlayStation don't release every consistent generation after generation, increasing the price by $400 like you would with the 3080 compared to the 4080. We're talking 3080, $799 retail, 4080 going for $1,200. Every iPhone SKU that releases every year doesn't go up $400 in price. They're all pretty consistent around the same price for the similar SKU that it is replacing. $400. My guy, $400. The 3080 versus the 4080. And yes, there is a performance hike. Kind of like there was a performance hike between the 3000 series and the 2000 series, and everybody was mad that they bought the 2000 series and the 3070 was going to come out and dwarf the 3080 for the same price as the 3070. Remember that? As technology ages, it tends to get cheaper. And what we're seeing is the opposite. Unlike basically every other market, TVs. What Nvidia is doing is basically they're trying to be the go-to. They want you to buy the Founders Edition card for MSRP. Then they sell out and you can't find them. And your only option is to buy from a third party. MSI, Gigabyte, used to be EVGA. Brands that I all love, but with Nvidia's pricing model, they've made it so that now these third-party cards have to be more expensive. Green sees green, and it's making me see red. Guys, it's a video. I just wanted to let you know that we've spotted 4060s and 4050s being registered with the EEC. I just wanted to let everybody know. If you liked it, like it, subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.